Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Wow. Hello, we're back. How are you, Lou?
We're back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Working through this.
absolutely. It's nice to be working with you again and to see you. And
Yeah. So great to get back together.
yeah, it's like I never left. I met everybody downstairs. It was such a pleasure. You know, it really was. We started here. It would have been 22 years, December 4th, coming up.
Yep.
And Tommy right now is going to be spending more time working, Ray, with on his books, which he really, really enjoys. And he decided to take a step sideways. You know, speaking of Tom, you know, the funny thing, Ray, for the last almost 22 years, every Friday morning, I woke up with a headache. Me, I had this migraine.
What do you think that was?
Well, I come to find out. I wake up this morning, guess what? No headache.
It's not nice.
No headache. So what can you contribute
Poor
that to?
Tommy.
Huh?
Poor Tommy.
Poor Tommy Baloney. Poor Tommy Baloney. He's busy. He's in his car right now. He's driving down 114 going to Peabody. So he's listening to us at WCAP 980 AM. And you can also listen and watch the show on YouTube. And we're also on Facebook, correct, Lou?
Facebook on the Sicilian Corner.
Right.
The new one, established 2002, is that. And of
Yep.
course, on the net, New England Talks.
That's great.
Cool.
Yep,
So
we're
we
live
got
up
plenty.
there.
We got
Yep.
plenty of coverage.
Yep.
You know, we made the change, because Tom needed some time to concentrate on his book writing, and two, we decided that we'd like to bring the show, Lou, back to its roots. I'd like to bring it back to a local.
Yep.
And talk about the Merrimack Valley area, what's going on in Lowell, Methuen, North Andover, events that are happening. We're only as good as you're going to make us. So we look forward to hearing from you. And our telephone number here at the studio is 978-659-0072. So once again, 978-659-0072. Everybody has a favorite restaurant. I know you and Kay have yours. I have mine. Lou, I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
And we'd like to hear about some of the better restaurants in the area. Or even if you want to pan it without being malicious, we have no problem with that. But there's so much to see and so much to do right here in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. It's incredible. Last week, we were out in the Berkshires, and we went to this inn called the Red Lion Inn.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
250 years old.
Beautiful place.
Oh, you've been there. Kay was telling me. And you know something? I mean, yeah. Do the floors tilt down? Do you run when you? Yeah, of course. But I have to tell you, the building structurally and clean.
Beautiful place.
And, you know, the Norman Rockwell Museum, to me, man, that's a take.
Yeah, we went to a wedding there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
It right at the
Right at the end.
Wow.
Yeah, it was beautiful then. It was a while ago, a long time ago, but it's magnificent. They take very good care of it.
The place is immaculate. Immaculate.
And
you
the
know,
food was fantastic.
I thought,
Especially for a wedding, you know,
Yeah.
when you're serving so many people.
Yeah.
They did a great job.
Barbara and I loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. Actually drove the Mohawk Trail going up there.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that. Cripe, I don't know. I must have been a teenager when I did it last. But it was.
Remember, we used to walk it. Now you have a hard time driving it.
Yeah. Well, you know, in the fall, it's insane. In the fall, it's insane. But on a Wednesday in May, The blue lady just wanted to run. She loved the hills and the valleys. Do we have a call?
Yeah, we do. But Peter also left us a message. If you're watching on Facebook, you can leave a message and it's up. He says, Buongiorno.
Okay.
From Peter
yeah.
in Wyndham. And he's
Yeah.
saying hi. And that's a great way to communicate
Boy,
with the show
you-
as well.
You talk about someone who gets into gardening. Ray, this guy, if he doesn't have 50 different varieties of tomatoes in his yard, I mean, it's incredible. And they're all raised beds. Just beautiful. He lives real close to me.
Yep.
And I love going by there. And it's just, I make out like a bandit. We were on the show one day and I came home. My brother was using my pool. And so I changed my clothes. I jumped in and it's a Friday afternoon. And all of a sudden, my brother says, "Who's this guy?" And I turned around and looked, and I don't know this guy from Shinola, but he's got this big bag. And I says, "Hi." I says, "Can I help you?" He says, "You Mike?" I says, "I am." He says, "My name is Peter." He says, "I brought you some tomatoes."
All right.
And that was the first time I met him. And it was so cool. It really was.
He says he's on vacation today planting tomatoes.
That's his vacation.
Yep.
That's his vacation.
So who do you think, as we get back here in the studio, who do you think the first phone call is going to be?
You know something? I would lay odds, right?
Yeah,
I would give you 25-1, and I know it's probably going to be Roger Trudell.
Hi, Roger.
Hey, Roger.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you, buddy?
And to John Sebastian, welcome back.
Very
to your
good.
roots.
Yeah,
And
Mr. Carter.
nothing for nothing, but you short shrift Peter. 50 kinds of tomatoes?
How many?
What are you smoking?
All
He's
right,
got over 80.
80 different varieties.
Yeah, and he's down from about 120.
Man,
Wow.
Yeah, Peter's a little, he's out there. But tomatoes, he makes me look like a neophyte.
Well,
And by the way, I met Peter from the show.
that's right.
And-
Yeah, I remember.
And we have become very good friends. He helps me, I help him. And life is a good thing, you know?
Well, I hope all is going well with you and you're having a good summer. I know you had some surgery, but you look fantastic. I've seen you in the last couple of weeks. And thank you very much for those tomato plants you brought over. I appreciate it. They're like
How are they doing?
they're like triple the size. Yeah, I got them up. I got them up in the deck. My problem is, I'm not around that much. That's the biggest issue. So I got to work on a way of how to maintain them. Do you guys grow any tomatoes?
We did at one time, not anymore. Since we sold the house,
Yeah.
and about 7 or 8 years, we're in the condo.
Yeah.
Flowers. Kay has got beautiful flowers everywhere.
Beautiful. But so Roger, new show, basically a new show, and we hope you're going to participate, and we're going to try and get in as many callers as possible. And something, I appreciate you calling in and wishing us good luck. It's a lot of
Just
fun.
a
This is a
suggestion.
lot of fun for me. It really is. It really is.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
I liked the old intro better.
Okay.
Just saying, if you want to go back to your roots, there you go.
Which
All right.
old?
Get familiar.
You mean the old intro music or the old intro?
What that? You know that I can't speak Italian. Come on.
Your beef is with social media. They won't let us.
They won't let us. That's the problem.
Really?
Unless
Okay.
you want to buy the rights first, and then we'll be ready to go.
Yeah. There
I'm
you go.
good. I'm good. I'll tolerate what you got now. That's okay.
Hey, Roger. I hope we get some rain today.
I'm hoping I'm out in the garden planting the last of my 66 pepper plants. So yeah.
Unbelievable. Roger,
Yeah.
thank you very much for giving us a call. And
Okay.
we
Good
hope to
luck.
hear. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very, very,
Bye-bye.
very much. What a nice man.
This sounds-
You know, one thing about this radio show, Sicilian Corner, we have met some fantastic people, and
Yeah.
we've had a lot of fun along the way.
Sponsors, guests, people listen, people contact us. It's been
You
great.
know something, and we've done some amazing fundraisers. I mean, from scratch. I mean,
and helped a
we-
lot of people with it.
of course it does.
A lot
course.
of people that would know how to do a fundraiser.
Well, you know something, everybody needs help at one time or another. There's no question about that. And you know it because, first of all, everything that you have done in your lifetime and between you and your wife Kay, who happens to be my cousin Lou,
That's right. I
and
remember.
she is a dynamite lady. And I have to say something, Ray, about her mother. Man, her mother
Beautiful,
was
beautiful lady.
what a class act. What a class act. I believe they lived near Catherine Street, up
They
at the
lived
top of the hill.
on Woodland. Street.
Woodland, right at the top of
Yeah.
Catherine.
2-family.
We used to go there on a Friday night, my parents, and they'd go over and they'd play cards. And Kay and I mean, we weren't even teenagers. I mean, crap, I was about 8 or 9 years old. Kay was maybe a year older. And every Friday night we used to be there. And they used to have the greatest time getting together and talking and reminiscing. But Kay's mom was, when I say a class act, Lou, class act all the way.
My late father-in-law would say, let's play cards because that way we won't be talking about anyone.
Oh, I like him. I like him.
Mike, right?
Mike did
Mike.
not like gossips.
Yep.
So he'd say, let's play cards. That way we won't talk about anyone.
Well, our guest this morning, and I wanted to make it somewhat easier on myself and feel comfortable with our guest, is none other than Ray DeFiore. And Ray, if you want to put a face on the Merrimack Valley area, I think this
is the face.
This is an Ifacha. You've been involved in more organizations than, I mean, if there was something going on in the city, it ran through the DeFiores, between Kay, between you. It's wonderful. I don't know how the heck you found the time to do everything like that. You went to Lawrence High, right?
Lawrence High, class of 61. Kay graduated from Lawrence High.
Yeah.
Class of 60. I married an older woman.
Yeah, speaking about getting older, I'm sitting here and I started laughing to myself. Do you know, cousin, between you and I, we represent almost 160 years.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Isn't that scary?
As long as it keeps on going.
Who the heck ever thought that, you'd be knocking at 80?
Listen, October, I'll be 80.
I know. God bless you, kid. God bless you.
Yeah.
I got 1.5 years to go. Something, I take it every day the way it comes and make the best of it and have fun with it and everything else.
Just don't think of those numbers. You just keep moving.
That's right.
Well,
Each day
that's
is a new day.
it becomes up here, and people get in a rut and they say, well, I'm 70. I can't do that. Do anything you want. At least try it. If it hurts, stop.
Don't sit around at home. That's the worst thing you can do.
Yep.
So,
I've so many people that I know say, oh, I can't wait to retire. And then once they
Forget about it.
retire,
But-
I've got to do something.
But look at you guys. When you were kids, what did 80 look like?
Oh,
Did it look like this?
mean,
No, it
they
didn't
weren't
look
even
like
around.
Yeah,
I
look-
mean, by 80,
right. Yeah.
the life expectancy back then,
Yeah.
I was born in 45. The life expectancy was probably 66.
How old was your dad when he passed?
78.
Mine was 72.
Yeah.
We're beyond that already.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
all right. You don't have to.
That's okay.
No, I
That's
know,
a
but
good thing.
The
That's
point
a
is,
good
you
thing.
guys are doing great and very active and out doing things and
Yeah.
enjoying your life. And it's just like, just keep rolling, one day at a time.
Now, you went to the Oliver Grammar School in the
I
city
did.
of Lawrence. How many grammar schools are there? 8, 9? Probably.
Off the top of my head, 8.
8. Yeah. You went to the Oliver.
Went to the Leonard first
Okay.
from grade 1 to 5.
Hmm.
And then from 5 to 8, the Oliver.
Okay. I have a little bit of a beef with the Oliver.
Still?
Did you go there? No, you couldn't have gone there. You were St. Lawrence.
Let me finish what
All
I
right,
want.
go right ahead.
Yeah. First of all, grammar school to the 8th grade, right?
Yep.
You should have seen these guys. They drove their car to grammar
All right,
school.
okay, all right.
No, but me, how many times did they stay back?
Well, some of them stayed back a few times. Listen, by the time they got out of high school, I know 3 of them that were let go to go vote.
There were some big boys, boy, for grammar school. Let me tell you, because back then the grammar schools used to compete against each other.
Yep.
In track, was two-handed flag football, basketball at the boys' club.
Yep.
It was wonderful. And every time we had to play those big monsters from the Oliver, it was always a little bit
trepidation.
Exactly. You know,
They
but
were smoking on the sidelines.
so there's no reason why they were so big and so old.
No,
in grammar school.
No, I mean they were just big guys. I wasn't that big, but some of them were.
Did you play sports at all in high school?
Not in high. I wrestled in high school.
You wrestled in high school.
Yeah, first class that had a wrestling team.
Hmm.
Bobby Fitzgerald, the
Oh,
father,
sure.
was my coach.
He was a football coach. Too.
Yeah, but he had the first wrestling team that Lawrence ever had, along with Steve Paraki.
What a gentleman. You know, Ray, I've said this before, Louis, if I was to have a son, I wish that his mentor would have been Coach Paraki.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, the man was
Good-
a
good
class,
guy.
good man,
Good
good
guy.
man. Never swore, taught you, brought you aside. You screwed up. He explained what you're doing wrong, you know, instead of hitting you over the head.
Yeah.
He was just, to me,
Yeah.
a model for a young teenage boy growing up. It really was.
Good person.
You know, hey, listen, we're going to take a break in a couple of seconds here,
Okay.
and we have to thank all our sponsors. And I can't tell you how important sponsorship is to this show, or to any other show for that matter, especially on the radio side, video podcast. And we're very fortunate. We've had 4 sponsors with us for all 22 years. 4, which is unbelievable. When we come back, I want to discuss, in case of an emergency, because they're talking hurricanes are going to be pretty tough this year. Maybe it might be a little bit more active, even here in New England. We're going to talk about the emergency bunker in Massachusetts. And I know you have a lot of information on that, and I think our listeners are going to enjoy it. So stay with us, folks. We're going to be right back, and we'll listen to what the sponsors have to say.
Audio Jungle.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
Today, Lawrence General Hospital has affiliations with leading Boston academic medical centers. Top specialists from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center and Floating Hospital for Children at Tufts Medical Center work with our local doctors to bring world-class care close to home. Today, amazing partnerships are happening at Lawrence General Hospital. To learn more, visit lawrencegeneral.org/today.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952 682-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
A loyal sponsor for the Sicilian Corner is Hilton Oil Company. Hilton Oil has been located right across from the South Lawrence Common since 1932 at 101 South Union Street. Hilton Oil Company specializes in 24-hour burner service, oil deliveries, including automatic deliveries, serving all the Merrimack Valley area, plus portions of southern New Hampshire. If you want your car fixed right the first time, bring it to Hilton's state-of-the-art service station. Remember, Hilton's is also a Mass State Inspection Station. Hilton Oil Company, 101 South Union Street in Lawrence. Call 978-687-9793.
This is Cindy,
and Mike Kunstler,
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
He is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
Hi, everyone. We're back. My guest this morning, a very dear friend, someone I've known almost all my whole life, Ray DeFiore. And, like I said, it's an honor to have you. And if I was to put a face on the Merrimack Valley, I'd use you. I really would. Listen, back in the 60s, things were pretty tough. I think even at the Oliver, even though you guys were much bigger than most kids in grammar school, you probably couldn't get underneath your desk. But they used to have the bomb alerts. Remember, the buzzer used to go
like
up.
that was going to help you.
Yeah, you got to crawl underneath your desk.
Yeah.
Now these guys over here, they were so big. Forget about it. You couldn't go.
Right.
No, you couldn't fit underneath.
Get
you.
underneath the desk and kiss your, goodbye.
Goodbye. That's about it. But President Kennedy.
Can you imagine telling kids that? By the way,
I know.
If
it's
they were going to drop a bomb, just let them drop the bomb and don't tell anybody.
Right. I don't even remember it. I remember it happening, but it didn't affect me.
A teenager told me we have so much stress these days. Okay, I was hiding under desks for nuclear attacks. So tell me about stress.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Massachusetts was the first in the nation, Lou, to have an underground blast-proof state emergency operations center.
Oh.
And they chose Framingham for a couple of reasons, right? A, from Boston, because Boston would probably be a principal area that would probably get hit.
Yep. No one's going after Framingham.
Nobody's going after Framingham. Plus, you have the Mass Turnpike that you can shoot down there. And it was quite a facility. And Ray had the pleasure of being there on several occasions. And the question I think I wanted to ask you was, why did Ray DeFiore get picked to represent, say, the Merrimack Valley area?
Well, it wasn't just the Merrimack Valley. What they did was they tried to bring in people that were in my position as the director of public works to show them what was there, how they worked, what they utilized to help each other. And I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Everyone who needs during a storm, whether it was the storm of 78, whether it's a flood, power outage, hurricane, one city may have the resources to accommodate another city that they're not utilizing. So all the resources go into one common area so that anyone who needs to access extra vehicles, power, generators, knows what the entire state has. That's really the primary
So
reason
they're
for it.
centralizing it.
They centralize everything. And
Huh.
the other thing that many people don't know about, and we really can't say it on the air how it works, but each community also has, in case something happens to our water systems and we have to go to an emergency, we have backup water systems in place so that other communities in our area work together to make sure that we have the water that we need.
Wow.
So it's all sort of an inclusive, helping each other, knowing what's going on. And we've utilized them, especially the Storm of 78, front end loaders, graders. They were at a premium. Well, who has them? Who's got the most of them? Who's not using
Understandable.
a piece of equipment? So that's the reason why. And we were all brought there
How
to
how
see how it
how,
works.
how did they bring you there?
Just through the city, the community. When I went, Sharon Pollard was the mayor. She just got elected. I went there to see how they operated. And then Billy Manzi became the mayor. I went there once while he was the mayor as well. And very interesting place. And, they are also connected with FEMA, which is the federal agency as well.
And the emergency broadcasting system, I believe
everything
goes out.
everything.
They have two towers, 77-foot towers that they can broadcast from. The roof to this building, according to what I was reading, is 2 feet thick.
Wow.
2 feet thick. They have freezers. The one question I wanted to ask you, now you guys in that facility, and it was meant for people to stay there up to 30 days, correct?
Yeah, I've never.
Yeah, it was up, and they had a morgue there, Lou. They had a morgue for 2 people.
Excellent.
Where the hell did they come up with 2 people?
They got me.
You got 300 that can be in there, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, you know what I'm curious about? Here we are. You mentioned the blizzard of 78. So you have 2 feet of snow plus wind conditions, blizzard conditions. How did Ray DeFiore get from Methuen to Framingham?
Well, I didn't go there then. I did not go there during.
Okay,
the
you
start.
weren't involved.
I
with
had
the
to stay in my community because of the seriousness of the storm
Oh,
itself.
okay.
I did not go there during the storm of 78. Just getting from one corner of the street to the other was difficult. And our biggest problem, I mean, how much snow we got, we got into like the 3 feet area.
Yeah.
Was moving cars off the street so we could plow it.
How many
know
hours
that's-
did you work during that storm? Now
I
you
didn't-
were DPW Lawrence at that time, right?
Well, I wasn't the director. I was because that was under the old form of government
Okay.
with the alderman.
Oh, the alderman. Yeah.
I was a foreman then,
Okay.
and I had the entire South Lawrence sector.
Yay! Let's hear it for South Lawrence.
So we had to make sure that we got vehicles off the street. I mean, an average storm, we would tow maybe 50, 60 cars. We were like up to 1,000 cars. And the towing companies had no more room in their yard to get them off the street. So what we did was we would hook them and bring them to the end of the street, open up the street, then put the car back so that we can get to the secondaries.
Wow.
But I mean, I didn't go home for 3 days.
Wow. Hey, Ray, you know who's writing into us? Nancy DeMarco.
Sure. Nancy.
She says, she loves listening to the old days, and she even gave a shout out to Barbara, which I think was very nice. Andy Parisi, he's another gardener. He loves to grow things. He's got a camp up in New Hampshire, and he just loves to plant tomatoes. And I mean, these are people that have been with us like from way back when. Peter Scipoletti also wrote in. So it's nice hearing from all of you. And, as you write in, if you have a question for Ray, put it down and we'll be more than happy to ask him. But that center to me, I'm just amazed.
Everything you need. I mean, anything and everything you need to help.
Oh, there's a picture of the morgue.
2 people.
2 people.
You're better off just to wrap them up
Thank
and
God,
put
yeah.
them outside somewhere.
Yeah, right. If it's a blizzard, yeah, just put them outside.
But it was 40 feet underground, Lou. 40 feet underground.
There's
Like I
generators.
said, they put 2 feet of cement on the roof. It could withstand any kind of a bomb within, say, 3 miles of it.
Yeah.
They built this building so that it had actually movement. It could move side to side by a half a foot, and it could go up or down by a foot. I mean, that's quite a bit of engineering. I mean, they started building this in 61. It was dedicated in 63. I believe Endicott Peabody was our governor. It was our governor. And it cost, for all of this, it cost them $2.5 million.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine what today? I mean,
That's a house.
That's you can get
Yeah.
maybe the furniture.
Yeah.
what impressed you the most looking at this bunker? First of all, did you even know it existed?
No, I did not. Not until I was told where it was. I knew where it was, but I could not even conceive the size of this. It was just enormous.
It was that big.
Huge.
Well, the whole 300 people and 300 people to
Yeah.
sleep. I mean,
Right.
gee, when you think about it.
There it is. It's a huge, huge facility, but
Wow.
one that served the community.
Now, that's still active? I mean,
yes.
This is something that is current right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Louis, that's great seeing those pictures. I like the morgue for 2 people.
All right. So if there's going to be a nuclear blast, do I want to live in that bunker for
30
I'd say-
days.
I'd
That's
say
all.
if there's a
After
nuclear
30 days,
blast-
they kick you out. 300 more people come in.
Open the door and go out.
yeah.
I can't even imagine the size of the door.
No,
You
the door,
remember?
it's on a slider.
It's
But
on a
once
what, a
it-
slider?
It wasn't
Okay.
opening this way. It
It slid.
slid shut. And when it did, you could literally feel the vacuum inside the building.
Jesus, that's something, huh?
There's a photo of the door, and it says the blast door is 82 inches wide, 82 inches high, 6 inches high, 9 inches thick. Total weight is 5,695 pounds.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Quarter-inch steel plate welded on the flanges of, I don't know what that means, 8 WF 17 beams.
You got me.
Turned on the sides and spaced 13 inches apart. 6,000 pounds worth of door.
Wow, unbelievable. Nancy just wrote to you, Nancy DeMarco, and she says, Ray, I miss you in Methuen. She wants you back.
I miss you, Nancy. I
She's
don't
a-
miss the job.
She's a sweetheart.
She is a nice lady.
Roger asks if you guys have ever heard of the Framingham Heart Study.
No.
Doesn't ring any bells? No.
I have not.
Peter says, as an amateur ham radio operator for 40 plus years involved with emergency communication, I've been to the Framingham EOC and it's incredible.
He's got an unbelievable ham operation going out of his house in Wyndham. It really,
Yep.
I mean, he loves it. He just loves it. It's been a hobby of his. I had a friend of mine in South Lawrence. His dad was into it too. And they had a 3-family home and it had a flat roof.
Yep.
And then he had this monstrous freaking antenna. And I'm surprised that he got away with that because the Lawrence Airport wasn't really too far away from us. I know he had to light it up, but man, he talked to people in China and everywhere else. I used to get a big kick. I mean, I'm like 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Surprised they allowed it.
Yeah. They have no
Wow.
sense of humor about that sort of thing.
Yeah, they did. So it's incredible. So you had an opportunity to see something that most people do not see. Right. Now, the blizzard of 78.
Do you have more faith in our emergency response or less faith in our emergency response as a result?
Primarily, Lou, for me, it's how we would survive if we had a problem with our water system.
Mhm.
I mean, think about
the
needs for your water on a daily basis.
Yep.
And I am impressed by the way communities are ready. I know it's difficult for places up in New Hampshire that are supplied through wells, etc. But our systems here, just to give you a real quick, in the Greater Lawrence area, Methuen, Lawrence, Andover, North Andover, are all tied in together in an emergency system
Mhm.
that is filed with DEP and EPA. Not many people know about it, but it's there.
So they're physically connected, these systems.
Correct. And
Yeah.
if something happened to one, the others could take care of them.
Wow.
So
Ray,
that's all part of it.
Yep.
the city of Lawrence is an old city. I mean, it's what, 150 years old or more. When there's severe rains, there's an awful lot of water that has to be turned into the Merrimack River that's not clean.
CSOs, which is diminishing now.
It is diminishing,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
I see people fishing by the falls, and they're
Mm-hmm.
getting huge fish. So that's a good sign. I mean, that's something that never happened before. But it's because the system is so old, it just can't handle all that runoff.
It's the sewer. The sewer years ago were tied into the river.
Yeah.
So everything that went into the river. That is over the years now, they've been separating that so that we tried to minimize it. But real quick, because that wasn't part of our discussion today, I will tell you this. First of all, when they talk about water that we draw into our plant, that line is 40 feet below the surface of the river.
Really?
So what we're taking in is well below anything that flows on the top of the river. Okay.
It's good to know.
So it's virgin water and once it hits our intake, it gets shocked by chlorine
Right away.
before it goes up to the plant.
But
That's number one.
Mhm.
Number two, that river moves so fast that nothing stagnates on it. It just moves. Of course, I'm not saying that that's an acceptable
right.
situation, but it should put people's mind. I drink our water in Methuen. I've never had any issues with it. And water that's controlled by cities and towns gets tested every half hour on the half hour.
No kidding.
If you live up in Maine somewhere and you're lifting off a well, I hope you get your water tested.
Once every 3 months.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe if you're lucky.
So
Hey.
if you don't, and 1 month goes by and you get it tested, and then 3 days later somebody contaminates it, you're out of luck.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we need to take a break. So we're going to take one, and we come back. We got a few more things that we'd like to talk about. What was the gentleman's name, for instance, that was underneath the tunnel on Portland Street to go over to Merrimack Street? You think about that. Let me know if you have an answer. We'll be right back, everybody.
Wow, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
This is David from the Sicilian Corner. You know, Mike, Tom, and I love to go to Salisbury Beach, but we love different things and can never agree where to go. Tom likes the casual family-style dining with a great Italian cuisine, Capri's Seaside Italian Kitchen and Pizzeria. Me? I love the elegant romantic vibe Sea Glass with the amazing view and terrific menu, with prices that make it the place you want to visit each and every week. Mike loves a drink in his hand and a cool ocean breeze right off the surf and the rhythms of a cooler reggae band. We all know Mike loves Bob Marley tunes at Surfside. Who doesn't love a great show? National acts, comedy, regional favorites in the beautiful and intimate Blue Ocean Concert Hall. Lucky for us, Atlantic Hospitality is the host of all of these great places, and they treat everyone like they are Mike Lomazzo. Best of all, we never have to choose. Park the car once and all this fun is right at your fingertips. You can have it all in the heart of Salisbury Beach. Find out all the ways you can have a great night at Salisbury Beach at northshorepavilion.com. And Mike, Tom, and I will see you there.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
Hi, this is Mike, and I would like to tell you about the Deborah Care Law Offices, a firm that is focused on estate planning, probate, trust administration, and elder law issues. You will feel comfortable discussing important issues concerning both you and your loved ones, as well as having the information you need to make an informed decision about your family's future. How do I know? Because I'm a client of Dan Deborah Care. If you want to have peace of mind knowing that your loved ones are protected, call Deborah Care Law Offices today. In Massachusetts, 978-686-4645. In New Hampshire, 603-894-4141.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
This is Cindy,
And Mike Kunstler.
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
he is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
And we are back. Hey, listen, we just got a shout out for Marianne Esposito from Ciao Italia. You've had the pleasure of meeting her.
Absolutely.
And-
Nice lady.
Oh, she just got back from Italy. She took 22 people on a tour. And I don't know if you were up to speed in what was going on in Italy, but they got some wicked, wicked rain. And unfortunately, that group got hit with that. And it must have made it very, very, very difficult. But Marianne will be joining us here on the Sicilian Corner. We look forward to it. There's one person in this room that she just loves, and she's adopted. and that,
I'm perfectly willing
and
to.
that's Brother Lou.
Yep.
Brother Lou. So
Love Marianne.
she is something. She's a peach, hard worker. Jesus, Marianne Joe, and her husband Guy. That guy knows more about wine than I'll ever know. He's unbelievable. I mean,
I know about wine is I like to drink it.
Yeah, that's it too. But I mean, he's a retired orthopedic surgeon. He got involved with knowing more about wine, and he's made it like a career.
Nice.
I mean, it's amazing. But you go out with them. We happen to be at Grazie's.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and it's close to home for you.
Yeah.
And the food is outstanding, and they're great people. And man, I'll tell you, he was asking questions, and the guy's looking at him saying, "Who the hell is? Who's this guy?" You know. But it was. I love when
But
people.
did you
know,
get a nice bottle of wine?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's up there though. It's dear. It's very dear. Growing up in the city of Lawrence, you grew up in North Lawrence. It was probably a 5 or 6 block area that was considered to be the Italian district in the city of Lawrence. And we're talking late 50s, late 40s, early 50s. Your playground was basically
The common.
The common. Now, the common, both commons, North Lawrence, South Lawrence, had the big swimming pools. Now, there was a rumor circulating because back in 54, 55, we had problems with polio.
Yep.
And I don't know if this is true or not, but I've always heard this my whole life. And it happened to be a young lady from South Lawrence, supposedly. And they blamed it on the water from the pools. And they closed it.
She's right.
She is. Okay.
The water from the pools had no filtration system.
No kidding.
The water came out of the spout on the top. It
I
came
remember they had
down,
it cascaded down
and filled the inside. Okay.
Wow.
Once in a while, they'd open up the spigot and drain the bottom out. And then
bacteria.
put the water back on again.
Yeah.
And but there was no filtration system. That's why the kids, everybody got sick.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why they got polio. That's the reason why.
So that was a true story. And she went to grammar school with me.
And by the way, not the fault of the city. I mean, nobody knew
Wasn't
back
the technology
then.
at the time, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, who had a pool? You know, today
Yeah.
everybody's got one in their backyard. But back then, I played in that pool. I used to climb up that fieldstone thing to grab the top, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
And then slide down.
That was a challenge.
Yeah.
That was a challenge. My pool in South Lawrence was the Shawshene River. We had, first of all, North Lawrence and South Lawrence, complete polar opposite. I think you'll agree to that. We had a lot more woods. We had a lot more open area, and we were close to the stadium. So, I mean, it was really, I loved where I lived. I really did. But I also hear from guys in the society talk about them, they're growing up, like, say, on Common Street, and how close they were and how closely knit the families were. You know, your grandmother lived on the first floor. You lived in the second floor.
Yep.
Aunt Mary lived on the third floor. You know, and how many mothers did you have in your neighborhood?
Well, I had 6 apartments. My grandfather owned the house. 6 apartments, all aunts and uncles.
Wow.
The only people that lived in the house that were not related were the Montes. They lived on the first floor across from my grandmother. The rest of them were aunts and uncles. And I'd come home from school. I must have eaten like 3 or 4 times. I'd go to the first floor, then I'd go to the second floor.
You're looking skinny. Come on, have something to eat. Then you go to another
Make
floor.
sure you do your homework and then go downstairs and help your grandfather.
But that was the same thing whether you were family or not. There was
Oh.
you had so many families within your neighborhood, right?
I mean, listen,
Aunts and uncles.
when I had a friend come in the house, he didn't wait outside.
Right.
He came inside, and my mother would say, "All right, sit down." She would say, "All I got to do is throw another half a pound of macaroni in." Then she'd feed no matter who was there.
Now, your dad was a patrolman for Lawrence, and he was fortunate enough to have your neighborhood as his beat.
Yep. He was to love it because I used to joke about it years gone by. They said community policing. He was community policing because nobody wanted to go to a police station if there was a trouble, if there was a problem. They'd come to the house and they'd say to my dad, "Ernie, can you talk to this guy? You know, he's giving me a hard time." All right, okay. When I get home from work tomorrow, I'll go over and talk to him. That was their community policing.
And you know, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it speaks volumes. Now you don't get to know who the officers are, and it's a whole different ballgame. You know, I think they got one of the toughest jobs. I have one of my godsons who's on the police department here in Methuen, and the lack of respect is,
I can imagine.
It's mind-boggling. And if you have children, I mean, and they see this, it's not a good situation.
I have a nephew that's a DEA agent, graduated top in his class from Quantico, has been in this area, Boston, all the drugs involved in this area, and now he's moving to another area for personal reasons, just wants to try something different.
Okay.
But tell you stories about his job, it would give you a nightmare.
We used to have a different relationship with police officers growing up. They were in the schools, and we had a relationship with them. Now it's very adversarial. I mean, kids are raised, just basically the police are the enemy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's something. That's a good illustration. Yeah. It really is.
Well, Mike talks about the Oliver. We had somebody threw a
Juvenile
snow-
delinquents.
Couple
That's what
guys
they
on the
were.
police squad.
Juvenile
threw a
delinquents.
snowball and knocked Officer McGowan's hat off. And the principal had both classes of boys down in his office. Okay, I want to know who threw the snowball. And if you don't tell me who threw the snowball, everybody gets 2 whacks in the hand with the rattan.
Wow.
Nobody talked. Line them all up, 2 whacks in the hand. Imagine doing that today.
Yep.
On the way out, Jack Wilson's dad was my teacher. And he turned to the other 8th grade teacher and said, I knew my boys wouldn't rat out. Get to the top of the stairs and we grabbed the guy who hit him. He went down a flight of stairs.
That's funny.
So that was
funny.
considered a quality. Nobody ratted out.
Nobody ratted out.
Yeah.
Well, we had the swimming pools in South Lawrence and also in North Lawrence. The Geisler Pool,
Yeah,
that was in
right.
Prospect Hill, right?
Prospect Hill, yeah.
Yeah. Is that still there, Ray? Or is that gone?
I think it's still there.
Andy says he swam at the Geisler pool.
Geisler.
Geisler.
The guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
saw
I
that.
think the only difference is at one time it was run by the city. They maintained it. I think now it's been taken over by the state,
No kidding.
which
Wow.
is too much,
Yeah.
too difficult to get lifeguards and
That's a
maintenance
problem. Huh?
people. It's a big problem in the country.
Yeah.
If I were
Well.
a municipality, I wouldn't want to be running a pool right now.
No,
Forget it.
We, you talk about, you get days like today, it's very, very, very warm. And I was in the John Breen Grammar School, which sat right next to the Shawshene River. And we used to sneak out of the playground, and run down to the river and go for a quick swim. This is during recess.
Oh, wow.
And then try to sneak back in without getting caught. And it was like a joke. It was a game.
Yeah.
So I'm in the 8th grade. I got Miss Bresterhan. Of course, back then, none of the teachers.
So
were-
you're sneaking off the schoolyard.
Yeah.
You're stripping down and jumping in the river.
Yeah.
And then putting the clothes back on and coming back. Thinking no one's going to catch you.
Well, this was the game.
who
This
said
is
they were bright?
this. Yeah. We're not. So anyway, I get back, and we had a hard time getting back in because they had a couple of monitors out in the yard. So we finally make it back in, and then really didn't have a chance to kind of dry off or anything. So I get into the room, sit down at my desk, and here comes Miss Bresterhan. She's walking down the aisle, and I got a puddle of water all around me. She looks at me and she says, Michael, did you go down to the river? I says, no, Miss Bresterhan. What's all this water? It's sweat, Miss Bresterhan. You go see Mr. Potham. Principal. She went crazy. She went crazy. But we used to do it all the time. The first time I went swimming, I was a young kid. I mean, crap, maybe 8. That's where I learned how to swim.
Yeah.
And the older guys, the guys from the Oliver, I say to this guy, NATO, I says, is it safe? Oh, yeah, it's safe. You're safe. There's only one thing you got to be worried about, kid. I said, what's that? He says, there's big snapping turtles in the river.
Yeah.
And of course, we had no clothes on. So he says, you got to be careful. You got to keep, be careful because they're going to go for you.
You don't want to get
Well,
snapped.
I put this into my head, right? So we had a rope. We used to swing off. It was part of the sand came from the pits, the pits where
Yeah,
the
the
city used to
pits,
get.
yeah.
That strain of sand was as soft and as white, beautiful, beautiful sand. And it ran right down to the riverbed. And it was on a big embankment. We had a tree with a rope. So we'd swing off the top, get out to the river, and let go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first time I did it, all I'm thinking about are those stupid freaking snapping turtles.
Yeah.
Me, I put my hand down between my legs, right? Me, I sank. I drank off the freaking water in the river. And back then, Tire Rubber used to throw all their dyes in there. We'd come out of that water, our hair would be 3 colors, and we didn't have to pay for it. It was all the dye that was coming from the shoe factory. It was a good time.
Yeah, it was.
What was your favorite growing up in the city? What do you think if you had to pick up one particular?
I just, the games we played in the common required no parenting, no coaches, no nothing. We just, right out of school, after you did your homework, you went there and you had a good time.
It was all clean fun.
Yeah.
And
Can
you
you
had-
imagine nowadays your parents had no idea where you were,
No.
could not get in touch with you for any reason.
It
And-
was a whistle at night when it was
Yeah.
time for supper. My dad we had the soccer field. You remember the soccer
Yeah,
field?
sure.
we played ball down there. We'd be there all day. I mean, until it got dark.
Yeah.
Bats would be flying around. You think it's a baseball, you're chasing the stupid bat. I mean, and you heard the whistle. That meant, hey, it's time. Hey, listen, we got to wind it up because
Okay.
we got about a minute to go. Lou, thank you very much for all your help. I
Pleasure.
look forward to having some fun with you on this
Yeah, it's gonna
on
be
this
great.
show. And thank you for everybody
My
that
cousin
wrote
Perry
in.
says hi. by the way.
Perry
Good
Perry Coughlin just wrote to you.
Yep.
And said hello. And again, Nancy and Andy and everybody else. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for
Have a
having me.
wonderful weekend. Ray,
Thank you.
always a pleasure. Take care.
Lou, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again, too.